Hi everybody, it's Amanda Bartels, and today I wanted to share a little, my thoughts about essential oils and essential oil safety. I have been trying to keep, I'm not the kind of person that wants to keep it to myself when I see someone posting something either on social media or on Pinterest or on their blog about something that I don't think personally is a very safe thing to use for essential oils. I've actually been thinking about this a lot in the last year and a half to 2 years since I've started with essential oils. The essential oil market has been booming everywhere. I mean, when I started using essential oils almost 2 years ago, they weren't as popular as they are now. When I started, the only way you can find essential oils was like through Young Living and doTERRA and a few companies online, and at the health food store, and also like at like a new agey store like crystals and like healing, like a Reiki place. Like that's the only places I can find essential oils. Now they have them freaking everywhere. Like I can go to Walmart or Target or Meijer and they are there. They're not just in the medicine section, but they're in like the home goods section. I have seen them in Bed Bath & Beyond. I have seen them at Marshall's and TJ Maxx. They are literally like every store you can think of. Because now like everyone is jumping on the bandwagon of essential oils because more people are getting into the more natural, like using more natural products, using essential oils. They want to use organic and everything. So some of these companies that are coming out with essential oils at the, at your store, they're like, I'm sorry, but this is just my opinion, what I've been thinking lately. They're probably like, well, we can probably sell them. People are buying more essential oils, so maybe we should start selling essential oils. But the thing is, like, some of these companies that, like, I can't even really think of the companies right now. Some of them, like, at your regular store, they're filled with, like, synthetic, like, fillers and other things besides just pure 100% essential oil. And the problem with that is it can cause other problems with your body if you were to use it topically or aromatically. And because essential oils is such a huge thing now, like people will just buy it. They think each company has the same exact oil. Like if it's lavender, they're like, oh, well, this one's more affordable. So it's the same thing. So when you're looking for essential oils, make sure, like, especially when it's lavender essential oil, you make sure you look for the Latin botanical name on it, and it should say Lavandula augustifolia on it. There are like hybrids of lavender. I don't buy essential oils from the store. It's not because I'm with Young Living or anything. It has to do with the temperature and the quality control at the ones that are sold at the store. With essential oils, you're supposed to keep them in a cool, dry place. You're supposed to keep them in dark amber bottles or like a darker UV ray resistant, I guess, glass bottle. You're supposed to keep them out of like light. You're supposed to keep them in dark places so they can't be exposed to direct sunlight or like excessive heat or anything. But like when the stock rooms at like your local store are normally warm, they're really hot in there. And with the essential oils on the shelves at your store, they're constantly around like the lights are on like 24/7, so they're always getting that exposure of the light. So that's the reason why I don't use essential oils from the store. And half of the ones I read the back of it, some of them actually label on their labels. They say that like on the back of the labels they say there's only 15% of essential oil in this bottle, and then they say like a carrier oil or other things, and then there's things like this may cause skin irritation. It's flammable and stuff. I mean, some essential oils actually are flammable, but like it says other cautions on it, and I'm like, holy crap. And like there's like sometimes they say, oh, only 15% pure essential oil, but on the very front label it says 100% pure. So you want to make sure you're looking at your labels when you get your essential oils. So I don't recommend people getting into ones from the store because my neighbor actually bought one for me, one at the store called Nature's Truth. And I think it's a newer company too. But the problem with that one, it was called the Calming Blend. It had a couple like citrusy oils. And she wanted to, I love her, she's awesome, but she wanted to use that oil on the woman that I care for. She's like, oh, you know, she has trouble relaxing, getting calm. So I'm like, I don't want to use it on her. So I kind of tried looking at the company, but I tried it on myself before I used it, and I had a really bad reaction. So I would never ever do that, but I just wanted to see, kind of prove my point with using oils from the store. So that's why I'm not going to be doing that anymore. I'm not even going to try to test any oils in that way anymore. But yeah, that's the reason why I don't buy essential oils from the actual store. It's not because I'm a Young Living distributor and I'm only going to reference Young Living. I normally reference Young Living and Eden's Garden because those are the two companies that I actually trust the most. A lot of people use plant therapy, and I would, like, I think I want to try a couple of their oils. But anyway, the whole point of this video is just, like, my thoughts about using essential oils in a very safe manner. My number one rule with essential oils is safety first. When you are first starting out with essential oils, start out small. I know it's very exciting. Someone, you know, probably like most cases, like, you know, someone who is with Young Living or doTERRA, and they always, you know, I'm not saying all people do this. I'm not trying to bash any of the MLO distributors. I'm just saying this is the things that I've witnessed or I've seen, or even though I'm with Young Living, I still have Young Living representatives and doTERRA representatives coming up to me trying to sell essential oils. I'm like, I'm already with Young Living. You know, and you know, I don't have a problem with the oils or, you know, the customer service and everything. People are great, but there are some distributors out there, not with just Young Living. There's doTERRA. I don't know if there's any other multi-level marketing essential oil company yet. Like, I haven't really researched into that part. I just know the two MLO companies out there that, you know, once you get your premium starter kit, you're automatically a distributor. You don't have to have like a license. You don't have to have medical like experience or anything. And what the scary thing about that is I'm sorry, I'm not trying to point people out. I'm not trying to bash anyone, but some distributors, not just with Young Living, but doTERRA too, because they have the oils and they're, you know, they're automatically work for the company. If you started off for a business point of view, they start doing these essential oil 101 classes, and the scary thing about that, they're not licensed to do that. And some of these people who share this information is, I mean, it's this is why I'm doing this video. I'm not saying I'm a doctor or anything. I'm not a professional, but when I share stuff, it's stuff that I've experienced with essential oils, how I use essential oils and the products, and like like the DIY stuff, like it honestly, it's just the reason why I'm doing this video is it's been giving me a lot of concerns, especially on social media, on Pinterest, on Instagram, and I just have to throw this video out there. I'm not trying to do it to scare anyone, because I'm not saying that distributors, you know, they're only out to make money. There's a lot of distributors out there that actually are so excited about essential oils and natural healing that they want to help other people. That's exactly, you know, I want to help people. I don't want to recommend really unsafe things for people to do, because again, I'm not a healthcare professional, but I do have two friends that are EMTs, and I have two doctors. One of my doctors is a more holistic doctor, and listening to reading up on some of the stories about ER stories and what some of my friends say is more and more people since they're getting essential oils, there has been more accidents with essential oils because people are not using them with the caution. Hundreds upon thousands upon maybe even millions of years ago, essential oils have been used for medicine purposes. And they are very concentrated. So when you use essential oils, when I tell people how to use essential oils, I always recommend diluting it with a carrier oil. I think once in a great while, there are like a couple essential oils that I don't dilute would be lavender and frankincense because they seem to be the most gentler on skin. But for the most part, I always say dilute your oils with either coconut oil or sweet almond oil. There's also, jojoba oil. And I can write in the description down below about different carrier oils for different skin types. And again, I'm not a professional. These are just things that I have been noticing. One of the first rules of using essential oils is to never get it in your eye or like really, really close to your eye. If you do, for any reason, like if you're using essential oils in your skin, like if you put like a drop with carrier oil in your skin and you apply it to whatever area you are applying it to, or if you're cupping in your hand and whipping it, after you're done doing that, please wash your hands, because if you're anything like me, I have a tendency of rubbing like my eyelid. I don't know if it's a tick or something that I have, but like I tend to like rub my eyelids a lot, so it's always a good idea. And when your eyelids the skin is so thin and it will go into your eye. I've done that before. I'm going to share my experience and be completely honest with you guys. I'm pretty sure it was tangerine essential oil when I first started with Young Living. And I was making reed diffuser for my bathroom, and I didn't realize I got some on my fingers. And, after I made that reed diffuser, I didn't wash my hands because I got into the shower right after I did that. And I started rubbing my eyes. I didn't realize I had oil on them. And the rule for water and essential oils, if you've ever heard the saying, water and oils don't mix, waters actually drive oils into your skin deeper, faster. And since I was in the shower, it was driving the oil into my eyes, and it started burning like crazy. It freaked me out. I'm like, oh gosh, what do I do? Oh my gosh, I'm burning. It's like almost like getting soap in your eyes, but like worse. So I kind of jumped out of the shower and grabbed my coconut oil and just, I washed my hands as quickly as I can, grabbed coconut oil and just slathered it on my eyelids and sat there. And it did help within like 10 minutes. But if you have a more severe case of getting essential oils in your eye or in your eardrum, please seek medical attention, because you don't want to do any damage. Luckily, I didn't have an issue with damage about that. Yeah. And not getting essential oil inside of your eardrum. And another rule is do not put essential oils in your mucous membrane. What I'm talking about is don't be using a drop of essential oil and dropping it down your throat, because you can do some severe damage, because one drop of essential oil is apparently equivalent to like 40 cups of tea. And that's a lot. That's very, very potent. That's why I don't recommend using more than one drop of essential oil at a time, because even just one teeny little drop is very, very potent and concentrated. That's why these were used as medicine. Like they're used, there's certain hardcore medicines that you have to be very careful how you use it. So when you're using essential oils, you have to use them with a caution as well, no matter what information you get from its membrane in here. So if you are to take them internally, not that I recommend taking them internally, I used to, but I no longer do that, because you don't necessarily have to take an essential oil internally to get, the properties of it. You can put them on topically on your skin, and it will seep through your skin and into your bloodstream, and it will go throughout like your whole body. So for me personally, I don't recommend taking oils internally. If you do, you know, for any reason and it works for you, what I used to do is I used to put like 1 drop like of lemon or like orange or something in my water, and this is a big water bottle, and if I run out of the water, I don't put any more oils in it. I would refill it with water, and the scent is, or the taste and the scent is still there. So, you know, and waters and oils don't mix, so normally the oil lands on the top of the water. So that's why I kind of stopped doing that, because you're supposed to be careful with what you put like in your mouth, you know, in your esophagus. That's where one of your mucous membranes are. So even though I used to do that and shake it up really well, I would drink it. You know, there's some people who take essential oils in their water every day, makes them, help them drink more water and stuff. But for me personally, I don't really do that anymore. I still drink water every single day. But like, I just, in my right mind, I just can't find myself doing that. Another way how I used to take oils internally would be the clear vegetable capsules. Since Young Living has came out with their Vitality line, I'm pretty sure it was the beginning of last year, 2016. On their website, when they suggest putting in the vegetable capsules, they would, I think it was like 2 to 3 drops of Vitality oil in a vegetable capsule, and they would recommend taking it twice a day. But they would never recommend taking it internally with a carrier oil. That's when it first came out, I noticed that, and I got really frustrated about that, because I'm like, these things are so strong, and I don't personally tell people to do that. I know there's some people who do it every day and they're perfectly fine and everything, and whatever works well for you, you know, if it works well for you, you know, it's fine. Just me personally, I wouldn't recommend my friends and my family, and, you know, I don't believe that you need to take oils internally for the full benefit. To perfectly honest, that's my opinion on that. I'm not trying to bash people who actually do that, but for me that was an issue. How I would do it, I would put only 1 drop in a vegetable capsule and the rest of it with olive oil. That's how I used to take the oils internally. Because like 3 drops is so much. It's so much for your body. I think that's like overdoing it and not doing a carrier oil. And for the longest time, I even mentioned it to, I'm pretty sure I mentioned it to one of the customer service reps or something about the no carrier oil thing. It kind of drove me nuts. I'm like, that's not really, to be perfectly honest, it's not really safe to recommend using oils internally without a carrier oil. So they finally changed it. I don't know if they did every single Vitality oil, but now I've noticed under some of the maybe they changed all of them over. I'm not really sure. When they take it internally, they mention it carrier oil, which makes me a little bit more happier, because at first I'm just like, how can you recommend taking an oil internally without a carrier oil? I don't know. But when I started using essential oils, no one got me into essential oils. I didn't really have help with essential oils. I just did my own research, and at the time, you know, essential oils weren't everywhere. Like now they're everywhere. So, and there's so much misinformation out there. But I first started using Aromatically. By that, I mean, like, I started whipping it out of the bottles when I first started using essential oils. So I would just smell it, or just smell the cap if it's really strong, like rosemary. And that's how I introduced my body to essential oils. I did that for like a week for each oil, and then I started diffusing them. And then one day I got a little too excited, and I saw a diffuser recipe. It was the allergy trio recipe, and this person put like 4 drops of lavender, 4 drops of peppermint, 4 drops of lemon in a diffuser. And holy crap, it was so strong. I started gagging with how strong it was in the diffuser. So unfortunately, I had to pour it out. I wasted all that oil. So when you're starting out diffusing, especially when you're starting out with essential oils, just because the scent isn't super strong doesn't mean your body isn't absorbing those oils either through your nose, through your mouth, or through your skin. They are. They're still really strong because the particles in the air, you absorb those particles and whatever else is floating out in there. But yeah, so I sort of started with, after that little incident, for a couple months before, I think like a month and a half before I actually started using it topically, I just would diffuse it. And then I started using it like in cleaners and stuff. But I would put like 1 or 2 drops of the single oils in there just to get my body, again, getting used to diffusing essential oils. That's what I started doing. And then after that, when I started taking them internally, I did buy the vegetable capsules. I saw some recipes, but then I'm like, I'm going to do 1 drop and the rest with olive oil. That's why I started doing it. It wasn't an everyday thing either, or I would take like 1 drop in my water. But again, I didn't do that every day, only when I really needed it. So that's actually what I did. First I did Aromatic, then I did it topically, and then I took it internally. But with the topical one, I always test it like on my forearm with some carrier oil. Just make sure I don't have a reaction to it. And I recommend other people doing the stories that I have looked into or that I've heard from my, EMT people or, people that worked in the medical field with essential oils. There's things called hot oils that they're very, very, very strong on top of the skin. I can't remember all of them on top of my head. I'll probably insert it in the video. But cinnamon bark and oregano, thyme, lemongrass. I mean, those are the ones that are on the top of my head that I can think of, the major ones. And there's a story of someone using oregano undiluted on their child's back, and they look like, from the pictures, they look like they were, and it was a Young Living essential oil, by the way, not another brand. It was a Young Living one. I don't know why this parent put oregano on their child's back, and their whole back, it looked like they had a huge chemical burn, and this child looked like they were like 6 years old or younger, and that horrified the crap out of me. I'm like, why would you do that to your kid? I wouldn't use hot oils on topically, which means on your skin, especially undiluted. Dilution is very, very important when it comes to essential oils. They don't just stretch out surface areas of your skin. They actually calm, I guess, the intensity of the oil. So if it's a hot oil or a stronger oil like peppermint or eucalyptus or something, it's not as hot, I guess, but I just like that. I saw those pictures and I heard that story and I'm just like, what the heck? And the thing with, I'm sorry, it's just like some of these stories I just can't, like, and seeing these pictures and hearing this stuff from like people that I know, going along with the safety mucous membrane, your other, not to be TMI or anything, but as a woman, you do have another mucous membrane is up in your vagina. Again, I'm just trying to be as real with you guys as possible. There's this recipe for if you're struggling with infertility, to put, I'm pretty sure it's about 5 to 10 drops each of frankincense, basil, and I think lavender, or maybe the basil is clary sage or something, on a tampon and putting up in your vagina and leaving it there for about 10 hours. First and foremost, tampons are terrible for your body. Tampons can lead to sudden shock syndrome, which you can go to the hospital if you suffer from that, because there's toxic, with cotton plants, you don't know if there's pesticides used in those tampons or whatever, and then there's other toxic things to make the tampons. So shoving that up your lady parts with essential oil. Okay, and another thing, holy crap, essential oils up in your lady parts. Ow, that would, in my opinion, I feel like that would burn. So, and I've read some people of actually doing it. I mean, by all means, if it worked for you, but for me personally, I would not recommend doing that because, ouch. Why would you do that to your body? Because you can probably have a chemical burn. Like, I just feel like, you're supposed to keep them away from your mucous membrane. So why would you want to do that? Just my opinion on that. The other one is the eyelash serum. I'm pretty sure it's called Ula Lashes. It's on Pinterest. There's a lot of people who post it on, Instagram, and I'm sorry, if it works well for you, by all means, but for me personally, I don't recommend getting oils anywhere like near your eyes or whatever. So to do that, and your eyelashes are attached to your eyelids, so what if there was an accident and it went into your eye? You can do some optical damage, and I wouldn't recommend doing that. The actual Ula Lashes that, I don't know who posted it, was like 4 drops of rosemary, 4 drops of lavender, and 4 drops of cedarwood in a serum, and doing your eyelashes or whatever. And I'm like, I don't recommend these sort of unsafe things. It just, for me, it sounds kind of crazy because your eyelashes are part of your eyes, and if you get in your eyes, it can hurt really bad. I've gotten essential oil, not actually in my eye, it went through my eyelid, and it burned so bad. It's just the thought of that burning sensation that I had before. Luckily I didn't have any damage, but I mean, no, there's that. And then another thing about essential oil safety that I have to address is, with all the misinformation out there about essential oils, again, I'm not trying to call people out. I'm really trying not to call any specific person out. But when I first started making my own things, I was so excited about making my own things and using essential oils while doing them because it's more natural. So I looked up this one thing on YouTube. It was an essential oil dark eye serum for under your eyes. I'm like, oh yeah, this sounds fun. And I can't remember exactly what's in it, but I know there was frankincense, I know there was lavender, and I'm pretty sure there was rosemary. And then there might have been lemon essential oil. And I believe the recipe called for like 10 drops of each, and it called for rosehip oil. And the thing with rosehip, I looked into rosehip oil after I did the big no-no. I didn't do a patch test when I first made this dark eye serum. It's not a famous YouTuber. It was just someone who, and they did use Young Living essential oils. And again, I'm not trying to call anyone out, but it's just what happened with me. And it didn't really say, I don't know if it was like coconut oil or anything else in there. I don't think she recommended another carrier oil. But with rose, a pretty strong oil, kind of like essential oil, is concentrated. So when you use rosehip oil in any sort of DIY recipe, make sure you have a carrier oil with it. When you're working with rosehip oil, like jojoba oil or sweet almond oil, because this stuff's really strong too. When I made that dark eye serum thing, and I didn't do like a patch test, and I kind of like rolled it under both my eyes. I was so excited about it. And then within a couple minutes, my eyes just swelled out where I couldn't, like, they were so swelled up that I couldn't see. And it hurt. It hurts. It hurt so bad. They were so swelled up, and I actually burned, I sort of almost burned the layer, like the layer under your eyes are so thin, is so sensitive. So that's why you got to keep oils away from your eyeballs. But with this skin, you have to be careful what you put on this thin layer of skin under your eyes. Because it took me a week to heal. Like, I think I burned some of my skin under there. I threw away that serum that I made. And I used coconut oil. I just slathered just regular coconut oil on there. I used something else too. I had to go to the doctor's. Unfortunately, it looked like someone punched both of my eyes as hard as they can. It was just so swollen and so red, and it hurt so much. So that's why, fair warning to people out there that are getting into essential oils, getting into making your own beauty products, just always do a patch test and always be careful where you're getting your information from. Especially things from Pinterest or Instagram, or even like on YouTube, or like even on blogs. There's some people who are heavily into essential oils and beauty products and stuff, and they're DIY people, and they make blogs and stuff. I would be very careful, because some of these people, they're not like trained into actually using essential oils. Because if you're a distributor from an MLM company, I'm sorry, but I have to call out some of the people that are distributors from MLM companies. I'm not calling out specific people, but there's some, with MLM companies, the problem with that in essential oils is after you buy a starter kit, most people think they're, certified to be sharing information about essential oils, and they're really not licensed or trained to do that. Some people don't have, they don't do the research. They just find something that someone else has done. And again, essential oils are so concentrated, you have to be very careful with how you use them, on yourself, on your babies, on your children, and even on your pets. So, speaking of babies, if you're pregnant, you really have to be careful with what essential oils that you use during pregnancy, because there are certain oils you are not allowed to use when you're pregnant, like wintergreen, fennel. Some people who use fennel after they're pregnant for breastfeeding, boosting your milk supply. I don't personally know how to, I never had babies or anything, so I can't really suggest that, but I've heard it working well for other people. And for essential oils on babies, now I'm not a parent, so I haven't experimented with this yet, but I know that eucalyptus and peppermint and even tea tree are they're not considered hot oils, but they are stronger oils, especially for the senses. They smell pretty strong. Same with rosemary. So I wouldn't suggest using those on your babies. I know some people, there are recipes out there using peppermint on a baby's foot, to keep their fever down. And I just babies are so small, and their organs and their senses are developing. So, I would be very, very careful. If you are going to use essential oils on your babies, make sure that you are in the room, and make sure you're literally using a drop. If you were to make a roll-on or something, use one drop and the rest would carry your oil or something. But really, I would consult a midwife or an actual licensed aromatherapist, someone who has experience in this, and not just get recipes online, because you don't want to do any harm to your baby. That's very, very important with kids and babies. For me, there's so many things that honestly, it drives me nuts when I see some recipes for children under 2 or babies, or even on pets. There's some people who use essential oils on pets, if you're going to be doing that, I would like, honestly, I use one oil on our dog and it was lavender, and I only used one drop on all 4 paws, and I mixed it with coconut oil, and I was next to him the whole time. He hasn't had any issues. He wasn't licking it. Just make sure he doesn't lick it up, because he was having arthritis problems and really, really dry paws. So I was next to him. I was monitoring him, even though lavender is the most like gentler essential oil. But do not, like, if you're using essential oils, the dog's like under like 85 pounds, I honestly would not recommend using essential oils on pets, because you know, animals, if you know anything about animals, their senses are heightened, so they, you know, they can smell things faster than us, and things that doesn't seem that strong to us may seem way overpowering for them. Like, especially if you're diffusing oils and you have an animal in the room, make sure you have like a window open or something, or you know, they have access, there's like a breeze or something. I accidentally had, like, I think it was Sacred Mountain, diffusing my diffuser. I didn't realize the dog was like almost under our bed. I didn't realize he was there, and all of a sudden I heard you know, like he was like coughing and everything, and I was like, oh my gosh, what's wrong? And I started freaking out because it's like he was choking. Diffuser off, I aired the room out, and he was fine, luckily. And there was another time I was diffusing another oil, and I forgot he was in the room, and you know, he started doing the same thing. He started acting like he was sick or something. So when you're diffusing essential oils around pets, make sure your diffuser is high enough. Make sure there's some sort of airflow in your room. I mean, the safest one, honestly, to diffuse around pets would be lavender. But if you have anything smaller than a cat, like a gerbil, a hamster, or a bird, I recommend not diffusing oils around them at all. My personal opinion. It's, you know, I've even read up on stories of people using tea tree with their, you know, cats. Like, there was an affected area and they used tea tree on their cat, and the cat ended up dying because tea tree is actually poisonous to felines. And they had the same problem with a bird. I've read a story about a parakeet or something that I think they cut their little claw, their foot, and person tried using tea tree on it, and the bird ended up dying. You know, like that's why essential oils, you really have to be careful with how you use oils and how much oil that you use on your babies, your children, and your pets. For sure are poisonous around pets. Birch oil, like I think Tsuga, I tried diffusing Tsuga, and my dog had the same respiratory issues. So if you have Tsuga essential oil and you have pets, I would not recommend diffusing that around them. I'm not sure if it's poisonous or anything. I just know for me it's really strong, and for my pet for sure it's really strong. Anise oil, clove bud essential oil, garlic, horseradish oil, juniper, thyme, wintergreen, or yarrow. That's just a couple essential oils that are known to be like, you don't want to diffuse, especially around pets or babies, for sure. I wouldn't recommend diffusing eucalyptus or peppermint around babies either. It's just my personal opinion. You know, you want to be safe when you're using essential oils, not just on yourself, but on your little one. I'm using essential oils because, you know, I use them on occasion and stuff, but like it's just something that's been bugging me about all the misinformation out there. I do encourage other people to do their own research, but also make sure it's a good website. It's not like, you gotta be careful with like Pinterest and even Instagram when people post like recipes on that they do on Instagram, because an oil, like a blend or an oil may work well for one person's body type, but for another person it may affect them differently. So definitely, especially if you're taking heavy medications, I know some people switch from, you know, because they want to get rid of their medications, they want to live a more natural life, and what they do is they try cutting out those medications, and sometimes There's some people who are on like heart medication, or they're dealing with cancer or something like a serious disease. Always work with your doctor, but make sure you're doing, even if you're taking a medication, make sure you're doing your research on that for the side effects and stuff. And just because essential oils are pure and more natural and they come from plants doesn't mean they don't have a side effect, or they don't affect you, like they don't have like any negative consequences, especially if you use way too many oils, or if you don't dilute them in a certain way. Or I honestly, it's just my thoughts about the stuff that I've been seeing out on social media and everything about essential oils and safety. And I just really wanted caution people out there, especially when you're just getting into essential oils. You get so excited, you want to make your own products. I was the same exact way. That is my number one concern, is safety. Doesn't matter if I am a distributor from Young Living. I don't want to recommend anything that is very unsafe for anyone. And for any reason you do take the Vitality ones internally from Young Living, start out slow. Even some people, even doing one drop, you end up, you try doing one drop of essential oil and you end up getting like 2 or 3. So I would try the toothpick method, putting a tip of the toothpick in the essential oil and stirring in with like your spaghetti sauce or something, just really lightly, just to start it out if you're going to be using the Vitality line. And same with diffusing, just like introduce your body to oils because they are so potent, they're so strong. You don't want to cause any reaction or anything to your body. So really starting out slow and working your way up to a certain amount of oil is the best advice I can give to anyone. And I always encourage people to do their own research, but again, make sure it's from, a good site. And if anyone has any questions, I really hope I didn't make anyone mad. That's not why I did this video. It's just concerns that I've had with, MLO companies and even just other random essential oils, and people that are sharing their thoughts about essential oils, like the Essential Oil 101 online classes. Like some of them are, you just gotta be careful with what information you find about essential oils, because not all essential oil companies are the same. Not all essential oil companies follow the same method of aromatherapy. There's the French method of aromatherapy, which Young Living and I'm pretty sure doTERRA follows the same one, that they say that oils are safe to use internally if they're therapeutic grade, But then there's also the English method. Some companies do that. They don't suggest taking oils internally because it could be kind of dangerous, or seizures or something. Be careful what oils that you take, or any heavy duty like heart medications, especially heart medication, blood pressure medicines. Essential oils can actually affect how your medicine works. So if you're taking any sort of medication for any diseases or anything that you are suffering from, please make sure that you talk to your doctor, talk to like an actual licensed aromatherapist. Really do your research before you introduce your body to essential oils. So I hope everyone got something out of this video. Again, I'm not a teacher, I'm not a doctor, I'm not an aromatherapist. It's just things that I have been noticing online and stuff. It's just been kind of driving me nuts about people using essential oils, and I just want people to be safe. I want them to enjoy the therapeutic qualities of essential oils and natural healing, but I also want people to be safe. That's my number one rule with essential oils. So I hope you're having a great day on the end of that, at the other end of that screen. And if you have any questions or comments about essential oils or anything that I mentioned in this video, just comment down below. And please, hopefully there's I would prefer you not to do any like really mean comments. And I just, I'm not trying to bash anyone. It's just things that are on my mind, and I like to be as real as I possibly can with you guys out there. about essential oils and about the safety of essential oils. So I hope you have a great day. Bye.